Well, it's Friday. I told you I wouldn't be able to get to it until Friday, and sure enough, here I am Friday evening, getting out here, kind of getting ready to put this together. Don't know how far I'm going to get because we got dinner plans at some fancy schmancy restaurant with some people. So I brought the boat back from the storage unit. It doesn't look like we're going to get to use it much this weekend because I got a very sick little boy. It always happens. First week of school, someone in our family gets sick, and it looks like he's got I call it the summer flu. It's when I get a whole bunch of kids together and somebody gets sick. Well, guess what? He's really sick. Haven't been running a whole bunch of fever, but you know, he's got a bad cold and he's been throwing up a little bit. So I think it's going to be a weekend of just kind of doing tidy things on the boat, not really going out much. If I can get ramble some friends up, then maybe we will. But you know, for the family time, I think we're going to take a weekend off. So that'll be kind of good. So I can get this wakeboard tower on. Get a few little things taken care of, glue that little gas hatch back down, which I never glued it down. We've been dealing with it. You know, just do a general cleanup, make sure everything's 100%, check the engine, make sure we don't have any leaks, which I know we don't, but I'll just double check. What I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to get this thing assembled in the garage floor. Make sure that it all goes together nicely and everything works out. Then we'll start placing it on the boat and kind of see you know, where it's going to fit and where it's going to not fit. And we got to try to see if we can make it up over our bimini top. So I'm going to get the pieces laid out and see exactly, you know, where they're going to hit on the side of this thing. You know, obviously I'd like to try to keep it up in this area here or on this spot, but I have a feeling we're going to end up having to put it down here and over here. So like I said, it's going to be a bunch of measuring, a lot of figuring, but we'll get it done, I'm sure. Little update on the carpet. It's still, I'm not there yet. I just can't bring myself to spend $1,000. Well, I take it back. It's down to about $850 now because I got him to look at the carpet again and see where he can lay out the pieces. And so we're about $850 plus shipping. So shipping's probably 40, 50 bucks. So $900, $950. So $1,000 isn't too far off. I'll probably end up having to spend it. I love the carpet. I love the way it looks. I don't know what else to do. Every place I've ever called, even trying to get it yourself and then get it bound, I'm only going to save myself $100. So you kind of look at what's your time worth. If I have them ship the template back to me and you know, make my own from buying some carpet from somewhere else, I can get it from a local distributor, and then having to have it bound, you know, you save yourself $100. What's the big deal? So I got some thinking to do. I got a weekend or two. We're doing just fine without the carpet right now. Well, I only pretended like I was going to put this thing on Friday afternoon and evening. I just ran out of gas. We had to go out to eat, and yesterday on Saturday, it was just too oppressively hot. I mean, we're still getting up to 106, 107 degrees in the afternoons, and it's really hot before. If you wait to get outside until 11 o'clock, it's just too bad. I mean, it's really, really bad right now, guys. We usually have maybe I don't know, 5 to 6 days, a whole summer of 100-degree plus temperatures, and now we're at day 60 something now. So we're actually second in the record books ever in Texas as far as hot, and it feels it. And I'll tell you, I'm right now, as much as I love summer, I love heat, love the lake, I'm ready for a little bit of a break. I mean, at least mid-90s. I mean, seriously, there's a big difference between 95 and 105. It hurts. I mean, everything you touch burns the crap out of you. So I pretty much kind of took it easy yesterday. I went up to the storage unit and got the jet ski and brought it back, charged the battery, and took my daughter out. I gotta say, I'm kind of over the jet skis. Those things beat you up pretty bad. Those little Polarises are fun to ride when you're by yourself, so you can do a whole bunch of tricks. But when you got somebody on the back, they porpoise really bad unless you have an SLX, which has that extended drive pump. So I just think I'm done with it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up for sale. You know, get $1,200, $1,300 for it, which actually is cheap for a good running 750 with that brand new trailer and everything. And then turn that into the stuff that we need for the boat. I got a feeling I'm going to have to replace the lower of this outdrive. I'm still leaking a little bit of gear lube after striking that rock, which we're gonna, you know, once we're done with the season, we'll drain it out and make sure if there's any water in there, we're gonna go ahead and replace it, or actually take the outdrive off, have it pressure tested, make sure that that's where it's leaking from. And if it's the lowers, I'll just buy a whole new lower. I've looked at trying to rebuild it, but man, it's just not. It seems like it's going to be more economical to just buy a recondition, not a recondition, but a brand new SEI one, which they give you a 3-year fault-free warranty. So that way, if you hit a rock in 3 years, they just replace it. So you can't argue with that. And all the reviews, and plus my little trim rams from SEI, love them. They work great. So anyway, it's Sunday morning early. I'm going to try to get out here. Oh, and also on this wakeboard is I got kind of discouraged because I just couldn't figure out how I wanted to mount it. So after being on the lake yesterday with the jet ski, I looked at every boat out there, just trying to see, you know, how I want it to mount. We're also trying to figure out about the bimini top. The bimini top is not going to go under this because it's too short. The bimini top that we have on the boat is actually taller than most bimini tops because it has a zip-in enclosure that goes all the way around the boat. So with that being said, I think I've got it figured out now. It's Sunday morning. I'm going to attempt this again. I can't guarantee anything. It's going to get hot really quickly, so I'm just going to try to start measuring. However, excuse me, I did get this thing put together. Now, this is leaning down. This is another thing that really kind of plagued me with my decision-making process. This thing actually is supposed to be up kind of like this. That's how it is. But there's bolts that go through, and they hold them that way. So what we wanted to do was actually hoist it up over the boat and kind of see exactly how it goes. Well, that wasn't happening. First of all, you can't get enough people to do it. This thing wants to flop all around until you tighten it all down. And they say to leave it kind of loosened up. So unless you had something coming down from the ceiling like a hoist to hold it up, which we'd need a huge warehouse to be able to do that. And that's why I understand why people charge so much to put these wakeboard towers on, because you want it just perfect. But after doing a lot of reading and figuring out and all that kind of good stuff, I think what we're gonna do is we're going to mount it with the rear sitting back here and then the front sitting right about here. And I've got full access to both sides all the way around. And then I've got 1/4 or 1/2 inch plywood that we're going to put behind it for bracing. And then that will put the center of that wake tower right over my bimini up there. And I've figured out what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a quick release, because this thing, even though the wake tower goes over the bimini when it's fully open or fully closed, when you roll it backwards, that thing goes way up over the thing, and it's going to, or over the wake tower, and it's going to hit it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make quick releases, either here or here. So that way we can roll it, we can tilt it down, and then that way we can extend out the bimini first and then lock it back into place once we have it up. It's one extra step, but you know, hey, it's not that big of a deal. But the steps involved with this are, and that's about the only place, because the way this is shaped, you see it's got this goes up and around, that's the shape of the windshield. So you want that kind of in line with the windshield to make it look good. So that puts it just in one spot. So that threw every other doubt in my mind. We were kind of thinking about putting it further back, maybe mounting it here, but then that's going to look stupid because it's too far back. So anyway, with that being said, I think I'm ready to go. I think I've made up my mind of what I want to do. As well, you guys know it takes me forever to figure something out, but I want it planned just absolutely perfectly. This thing looks good. All I need to do is get my bottom pieces out, assemble them, and figure exactly what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to go over here and take this apart again and get this bottom piece out so that way I can put it on the boat. Okay, my lovely wife has got this thing held up here, and this is where it's got to go. We've actually moved it forward and moved it backwards, and it just doesn't look right wherever you put it. Whereas if you put it back here where the base, see if we put it forward, it just doesn't look right. Whereas if we put it back here, it just looks proper.
And we even tried it way back here, putting it
yeah. And it just didn't work. You can see where the arch just doesn't. Here, move it forward a little bit more. Yeah, put it back to our original location. There you go. That's where it's got to go. That's where it makes the most sense. And that still allows us to put a mirror up about where your head is to come out so we can see behind us. So
where it looks the best.
That's right. It does look the best there, and that gives us where the toe point will be is pretty much center of the boat. That's where you wanted it. It'll be right over my center rib of my bimini, which we're still wrestling with the fact is how it's going to work. If it's going to close right, or we're going to get some quick release so we can open it that way. That's where we are so far, and I want to take a dry erase marker and I'm going to draw around each one of these wherever we get the exact right spot. So that way I can pull it out, and then that way I can also then mount or mark where my holes are going to go through. And I'll show you a little secret about drilling through gel coat here in a second. But so far, this is where we are. As you can see, I mounted, or I marked around with my, what do you call it, dry erase marker, and this is how I'm going to mark my holes. So I'll put my little rubber mount there, and I'll take my dry erase marker one more time, and I'll mount the holes, and that'll give us our spot to drill through. Same thing on the back here. Now what I've done is I've crawled inside and made sure that my back area is open to be able to get to this. Now I'm going to have to pull out the little cooler cover on this side. The other side's fully open, but this allows me to get up in here and drill my holes. Now it comes with big brackets on the back, which are right over there, and then I'm going to take a piece of 1/2 inch also behind it that's PL'd into place, and that'll hold it really nicely. Now of course this is all kind of an experiment, guys. You know, like I said, they make a lot more expensive weight towers than this. They're probably easier to install. This one is, you know, of course made in China, so the instructions are really no good at all, so you kind of got to figure it out. If you want something that's super easy to install, I would not recommend this one, because there's the instructions, like I said. First of all, they show a different type of tower versus what this tower is, so you just kind of got to improvise. I'm also having a hard time wrapping my head around what keeps this thing from folding backwards. And from what I can tell, it's just these 4 bolts at the top, and I can see that wearing out over time. So I've already thought about, I had a buddy who does welding, is having 2 bars welded in here. I don't need to fold this up. I don't care about folding it up. We don't put it in the garage. It actually sits in underneath our covered parking up at the shop. So I'm not really worried about it. So we'll end up putting 2 bars across here that keeps this thing from rotating backwards instead of just having the 2 bolts, which that'll be a wintertime project, because then of course I've got to get in there and buff the crap out of it, because it didn't look like this. This is standard aluminum tubing, so you got to sand it, buff, the whole 9 yards. So we'll pull it off this winter and bring it in the garage and do some cleaning up. But anyway, that's where I am so far. I've got those marked. I'm going to go take that cooler thing out and just double check and make sure that I've got access to the back of the front piece. And we'll go ahead and drill.